The music died instantly the moment I handed the manila envelope to my father, and 30 guests watched in silence as he pulled out the document that would end his 40-year charade. My name is Ingrid, and up until last week, I was the black sheep of a family that treated me like an unpaid intern in their own lives. But that all changed with a single sheet of paper. 15 years ago, my grandmother tried to leave me a lifeline, a substantial inheritance meant to save me from the very people who raised me. She saw the writing on the wall long before I did. She knew my parents favored my sister Monica in ways that were practically criminal. Grandma Margaret wanted to give me a fighting chance at a real future, but my parents intercepted that gift. They stole every dime of her life savings to buy my sister a luxury home, leaving me with nothing but student loans and self-doubt. When I finally found out and gathered the courage to ask them about it, my father just shrugged and said, "Stop being so greedy. It's better used elsewhere." I was barely an adult. I had no resources, no voice, and honestly, I believed them. I thought I wasn't worth the money. But 15 years can turn a scared teenager into a formidable woman, and the truth has a funny way of surfacing when you least expect it. Before we get to the explosive showdown at their anniversary party, please hit that like button and subscribe to Winds of Thought, but only if you love stories where justice is finally served. Also, let me know in the comments, what time is it where you're watching from? I love seeing how global this community is. Now, let's go back to where the cracks first appeared. It started in a hospital room that smelled of stale coffee and antiseptic. I was 17, sitting by Grandma Margaret's bedside, gripping her fragile hand. It was our Sunday ritual, one I had kept for 3 years. She squeezed my fingers, her strength fading. "You're the only one who is truly here, Ingrid. Don't forget that when the others pretend to care." At the time, her words felt like a riddle. I didn't grasp the gravity of them. My mother hadn't visited in weeks, claiming work stress, while my sister Monica, the family's princess, was too busy planning her 21st birthday bash to visit a dying woman. Monica was getting a gala with 50 people in a designer gown. For my 16th that same year, I got a grocery store cake and a lecture about being grateful. Grandma saw the disparity. She always did. "I have something for you," she whispered, her eyes lucid and intense. "Guard it with your life, especially from her." "From who, Grandma?" She couldn't finish. She just closed her eyes, exhausted. I assumed it was the medication talking. I kissed her cheek and promised to return the next day, not realizing that was the last promise I'd ever make to her. I still believed that if I just performed well enough, my parents would eventually look at me the way they looked at Monica. I was tragically wrong. Grandma Margaret passed away on a Tuesday. I was in calculus when the text came through from Mom. "She's gone, come home." No comfort, no check-in, just an order. I wept on the bus ride back, feeling a loneliness I couldn't name. When I walked in, Monica was lounging on the sofa, glued to her phone, while Mom managed funeral logistics in the kitchen. Dad was missing. No one hugged me. At the funeral 4 days later, Monica showed up late, blaming traffic, and Mom rushed to comfort her. I stood by the grave alone, mourning the only ally I had. Later, I was invisible in the hallway when I heard my parents whispering in the kitchen. "The lawyer called," Dad muttered. "There's an issue with the will." "What kind of issue?" Mom's voice was sharp. "I'll take care of it. The girls don't need to know." My heart hammered against my ribs. What were they hiding? I was too conditioned to be the quiet, obedient daughter, so I didn't barge in. I went to my room and stared at the dark ceiling, replaying Grandma's warning, "Guard it with your life." 2 weeks later, the answer didn't come from a confession, but from a dusty paperback. I had volunteered to clear out Grandma's apartment because Monica found it too sad and Mom was too busy. I was packing books when I opened her favorite copy of Little Women. Inside, tucked between the pages, was an envelope with my name on it. My hands shook as I unfolded the note, dotting read, "My sweet girl, I have left you everything. Attorney Patterson holds the documents. Trust no one, especially not your mother. I love you." I read it until the words blurred. Everything? Grandma lived a modest life. I assumed she had nothing to leave. But the warning about my mother chilled me to the bone. Why would she write that? What had my parents been discussing in the kitchen? I needed answers. I found Mom watching TV. Did Grandma leave me anything? I asked, trying to keep my voice steady. She didn't look up. Grandma was poor, honey. It all went to the funeral. She was lying. I felt it. But I found a note, I said, holding it up. She mentions a lawyer named Patterson. She said she left me everything. Mom's expression shifted instantly, a flicker of panic masked by a condescending smile. Ingrid, your grandmother was confused at the end. The medication messed with her head. She seemed lucid to me. Are you calling me a liar? Her voice rose. She just died and you're hunting for cash. I can't believe you. Then Dad walked in. What's this? Nothing, Mom said quickly. Ingrid is just tired. Go to sleep, Ingrid, Dad commanded. I went to my room, but sleep was impossible. Trust no one. I was 3 months shy of 18. I had no leverage, no funds, and no support system. If I pushed now, they would paint me as the villain. So I made a tactical retreat. I would wait. 6 months later, the pieces fell into place. I had graduated and was staring at acceptance letters from dream colleges I couldn't afford. That Sunday, at dinner, Monica dropped her news. Mom and Dad bought me a house. She squealed, showing off pictures of a 3-bedroom charmer. I froze. You bought her a house? She needs stability, Dad said, beaming. How much? I demanded. $180,000, Dad said proudly. We've been saving for decades. $180,000, the exact amount one might call everything. What about my tuition? I asked, my voice barely a whisper. We don't have endless money, Ingrid, Mom sighed. You'll have to work. Monica needs a home now. I looked at my sister, oblivious and glowing. That night, I ran the timeline. Grandma dies. 2 weeks later, a problem with the will. 2 months later, a sudden $180,000 windfall for Monica. It wasn't a coincidence. Asterisk, asterisk, the next morning, I cornered Dad in the garage. The money, I said. It was Grandma's, wasn't it? He didn't look up from his workbench. Drop it. She left it to me. He turned, his face hard. There was no inheritance. She was senile, stop asking. For the first time, I saw fear in his eyes. He was terrified I would dig deeper. Fine, I said. I'll drop it. I didn't drop it. I just went underground. I told Monica about the note, hoping for sisterly solidarity. She laughed in my face. You're delusional, Ingrid. And frankly, a little jealous. I tried one last time with Mom, begging for the truth. She burst into tears, accusing me of tearing the family apart. I forgive you for being so selfish, she sobbed. I realized then that I was alone. So I stopped talking. I got 3 jobs, went to community college, moved into a shoebox apartment, and cut my financial ties to them completely. I didn't have the proof yet, but I had patience. Grandma told me to remember my worth. I decided to build it myself. 7 years passed. I was 25, a junior accountant, and completely independent. I hadn't spoken to my parents in years. Then a letter arrived. Gerald Patterson, attorney at law. My hands trembled as I tore it open. Dear Miss Dyer, I have been trying to locate you regarding the estate of Margaret Hayes. Please contact me immediately. 2 days later, I was sitting in Mr. Patterson's office. He looked grave. "Your grandmother left you $180,000, he said. You were the sole beneficiary." The room spun. My parents said there was nothing. He slid a folder across the desk. "They told me you waived your rights. They claimed you wanted the money to go to the family account. Since you were a minor when the process started, they acted as your guardians. I never agreed to that." "I suspected as much," he said. "Your father blocked my attempts to reach you." He handed me a second envelope. "Your grandmother wrote this for you." I sat in my car and read Grandma's final letter. "I've watched them treat you like a second-class citizen. This money is your escape. Don't let them take it. You're worth everything, ... I screamed. Not in sorrow, but in pure, unadulterated rage. "I know what you're thinking. Why not storm their house right then?" I considered it, but I was 25 and still building my foundation. I knew they would deny it. "So I have a question for you. Would you have confronted them immediately or waited for the perfect moment to strike? Type 1 for confront, 2 for wait. And if you're hooked, please subscribe. It really helps the channel." I decided to play the long game. I needed undeniable leverage. 8 more years went by. I climbed the corporate ladder, became a financial analyst, bought my own townhouse, and met Chloe, a forensic accountant who became my best friend. "Let me dig," Chloe said when I told her the story. She found the paper trail. $180,000 deposited into my parents' account 2 weeks after the funeral. A transfer of the exact same amount to a title company for Monica's house 3 weeks later. We had the receipts. Meanwhile, Karma was busy. Monica's husband left her. She sold the house at a loss and moved back in with our parents. Dad's investments tanked. Mom got sick. They burned through everything. Last year, they lost their home and moved into a rental. I watched from afar, silent. Then 6 months ago, my phone rang. "Ingrid, darling," Mom's voice was sickeningly sweet. "We're celebrating our 40th anniversary. We want to have the party at your place. It's so ... spacious." The audacity was breathtaking. "You want to host a party at my house?" "Family takes care of family," she chirped. "I've already invited everyone, just 30 people." She had invited guests without asking me. Typical. But then I smiled. "Okay, Mom, Saturday the 15th, you got it?" I called Chloe immediately. "Print the documents. It's time." Saturday arrived. I had the catering set up, the house spotless, and a thick manila envelope hidden in the hallway closet. My parents arrived early to inspect the venue. Dad eyed my hardwood floors with jealousy. "How much was this place?" "Doesn't matter, Dad," Monica sneered. "Did a boyfriend buy this for you?" "I bought it," I said, "with my own salary." Guests started arriving, relatives I hadn't seen in a decade. They all marveled at my success, unaware of the storm brewing. I played the gracious hostess, refilling drinks, waiting for the toast. Dad clinked his glass. "Thank you all for coming. 40 years with my beautiful Diane." He paused for dramatic effect. "As you know, we've had some hard luck recently. We lost our home." Murmurs of sympathy. Mom wiped a fake tear. "We have an announcement," she said, turning to me. "Since family helps family, we were hoping our daughter Ingrid would let us move in here for a while." The room went silent. They had ambushed me in public, banking on my shame to force a yes. "She has plenty of room," Monica added. "It's the least she can do after all Mom and Dad sacrificed." All eyes were on me. The pressure was suffocating. I set down my drink. "Is that right?" I asked softly. "Of course," Mom beamed. "Blood is thicker than water." "I agree," I said. "And since we're making announcements, I have one too." I walked to the closet and grabbed the envelope. I returned to the center of the room and handed it to my father. You said family takes care of family, I said. So I got you a gift. He opened it, confused. He pulled out the first page. His face drained of color. What is this? He wheezed. Page 1, I announced to the room, is a financial statement showing a $180,000 inheritance my grandmother left specifically to me, plus 15 years of interest. Gasps echoed through the living room. Page 2 is Grandma's will, naming me sole beneficiary. Mom snatched the papers. This is fake. Page 3, I continued, is the bank transfer record. From her estate to your account and then to Monica's. House down payment. I turned to my sister. That house you lived in? My inheritance bought it. Grandma tried to save me, and they stole it to spoil you. That's a lie. Monica shouted, but she looked terrified. Great Aunt Helen stood up. Diane, is this true? Mom stammered, looking for an exit. We did what was best for the family. You stole from a child, I said. I pulled out the final document. And this is a restraining order. You have 30 days to never contact me again. Mom collapsed to the floor, sobbing theatrically. How could you do this to us? You did this to yourselves, I said. I was 17. You took my future. Now I'm taking my life back. It's not real, Dad yelled, waving the papers. The bank verified it, I said calmly. So did the court. Aunt Helen walked over to my parents. I've watched you treat Ingrid like garbage for years. I'm done with you. One by one, the guests turned away. The party was over. Get out, I said. They left in disgrace, leaving behind a silence that felt like victory. The fallout was swift. Aunt Helen and several other relatives cut ties with my parents. Monica called me a week later, crying, claiming she didn't know. I don't care if you knew, I told her. I care that you never questioned it. Don't call me again. I hung up. My parents are currently living in a friend's basement. They are broke and isolated. I never sued for the money. They don't have it anyway. The truth was the only currency I needed. I donated $20,000 to a scholarship fund in Grandma's name. It felt right. People ask if I feel guilty for exposing them. The answer is no. They broke the family contract 15 years ago. I just enforced the penalty clause. A year has passed. My house is peaceful. This Thanksgiving, I hosted my chosen family, Chloe, Aunt Helen, and my close friends. We laughed, we ate, and for the first time, I didn't feel like I was fighting. For a seat at the table, if you're waiting for an apology that will never come, stop waiting. Build your own peace. You are worth more than the way you've been treated. If this story resonated with you, check out the next video on the screen. It's another tale of justice that I think you'll love. Until next time, take care of yourself.